Seattle, one of the more expensive places to live in America, is passing some legislation. So the gig apps are required to pay DoorDash, Uber Eats, and other drivers minimum wage. My name is Pedro Santiago, back at you with the RideShare Guy. And in today's video, we're going to talk about that, my opinion, why I think it's happening, why there are other cities that are doing this, and local lawmakers decide to put the squeeze on their gig companies so that they are held accountable to make sure tens of thousands of, or more than that, people are being paid fairly. Now, at the end of the day, I do think this will be a positive for many people. But what's the long-term effects? And are we getting closer and closer, inch by inch, day by day, to becoming W-2 employees? And how might that affect us? I'm of the mindset that, yes, I want transparency from these companies. I do think they could pay better, but at the end of the day, all these costs are going to trickle down to the consumer. That's where it's going to go. So if DoorDash and Uber Eats have to pay us more and have to up it, just like Prop 22 in California, right? Things in Massachusetts, other states have had similar things. They're going to pass that along to the consumer. What happens is the consumer then has to pay more. And in return, either they decide not to fulfill that order because the delivery fees are too much and they're already high, or they less the tip because they feel and they don't understand that we're actually making money, so then it could be a negative in that regard. So this formula that's being formulated is based on time and mileage and how much, the time you're spending on these particular deliveries, and the up pay will get you to at least that minimum of minimum wage, so you're not making below that. Which I understand, I think it's good, but what's the long-term effect? And who decides these formulas? Do they even know what gig work really is? Do they know what it's like to be a driver? Let's talk about it. Like many of us, we know where to find the money and we can do well. But the majority of drivers don't do well. They don't know that they're not employees, and they take a lot of bad orders and then they complain about it. Hence, then they get to what local legislation and say, I'm not making enough money. I'm not making $15 or $16 an hour. So then legislation gets passed so that you're guaranteed that amount. Like I said, it's going to be good for a lot of people, but I think it's going to hurt some drivers in the long run. And I do not want to be a W-2 employee. I don't want to have that, for me at least. What about y'all? Comment down below right now. So I'll put some split screens of the article that came across my desk, and this is what I'm responding to and reacting to it. I think about things. If it happened in St. Louis, what would that mean for me, right? If it happened to you, in your market, what would it mean for you? A guaranteed minimum. So basically this legislation is talking about, okay, it's gonna, basically like per minute, per this, per that, per active time, they're gonna pay you so that you're making that, at least in Seattle, 17 and the change. Not bad, right? On the surface level, but like I said, there's when we get something from these companies and it's forced upon them, they will take something away. History has shown us that. So then the workers in Seattle that this is helping, what are you now going to have to do in return? I don't know. If you're in Seattle, drop a comment. You tell me what you think. I'm of the stance I want local government and most government to get out of the way with the gig economy. That's where I stand on that. If within your market you can't make minimum wage doing the gig apps, you might need to find something else. So what are your thoughts about this? Put them in the comments down below. How would you feel if it hit your market? Are you in a market are you in California where you have Prop 22? What do you think about it? Give me the good, give me the bad, give me your opinions in the comment section down below. If it hits St. Louis, I don't know if it would really make a big difference for me because I'm making more than the minimum wage in my city. So I'm not sure it would be an effective thing for me. And the more cities that do this, and there seem to be big cities, big states, right, with a lot of drivers, they're going to take something from, they're going to have to recoup the cost of that. They're going to put it to the consumer, and then the trickle-down effect could actually mean less opportunities for the drivers in that particular market. And then they just become robots, and they're taking everything that they're supposed to take, and they're sitting at restaurants for a long time, and they're happy making the 17 bucks an hour. For me, I'd be losing money if I did that. And I think we have to remember what brought them to this legislation. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in Seattle, but I think there are a large amount of drivers that think not independently, and they take a lot of bad offers, don't make money, and wonder why, and then they want they want to make more, and they want the minimum wage. At the end of the day, we should not be taking the $2, $3, $4 orders. We shouldn't be taking the bad fares on rideshare. We have to be selective. We have to be smart. And I think in a lot of markets, you can make money if you're patient and selective and smart. I think a lot of drivers will think they work for DoorDash, work for Uber. They take everything that hits their phone and then wonder why they're not being profitable. I think the legislation comes from that. I'll be super curious to see what happens in Seattle, how this affects that market, how it affects drivers' money. If more drivers like this, if more drivers don't like it. This wasn't a law that was passed upon and voted upon the drivers per se. So if you're a driver, what do you think? Put your comments down below. And I appreciate you guys watching this video. Go ahead and watch this next video, how you can impact your earnings and still make money during the summer slowdown, especially on DoorDash. And I'll see you guys